everyone. As you know, a few days ago, a 6-year-old boy in Virginia in an elementary school, a 6-year-old boy shot his teacher in the stomach purposefully, allegedly, purposefully, based on the statement that day given by a fellow student. I was actually following whether or not there's some news and updates about it, and today the Virginia Police Chief Steve Drew in Newport gave a press conference, and I will share with you the video. I will give you the link of the video, WTVR CBS 6, but it's a 14-minute of a press conference. It was not necessarily, many people have praised this press conference, but for me, it was more of, instead of 14 minutes of presenting or 10 minutes presenting the facts, it was more of a 10-minute or 12-minute of presenting emotional statements and who have felt what, how emotional he has been and all that, which is granted, but it was only at the end, which as I was curious and I was literally waiting for update about that children. So what happened, one, to the child, number two, what caused this, number three, what on earth is happening with his parents? Where are they? And what on earth is happening in this household? Where on earth did he get the gun? What kind of environment is he growing up? So I had so many questions. I was curious. I was looking forward to this press conference. And it went on and on and on for 10 or 12 minutes about everybody else but this boy. So let me just tell you briefly. So he mentions that he went to the hospital where the 30-ish years old teacher, Abigail, is now out of the critical condition and she's now stable, she's okay. And he says that the first thing that she said to me was, "How are my children? Are they well? How are they doing?" And he said that he felt very emotional about this and the way she said that. Do you see? She's protecting, she still thinks of the other children, her students. And then he also talks about in that environment, what happened, how they move the people in a gymnasium and in other places. He talks about the process, what happened. So, and he said that he is telling this because Abigail, the teacher, said you can say it in the press conference. And then he said that the way it happened was, and this is very interesting, he said that openly, this was not an accident, it was purposefully. The gunshot was purposefully made. He said that she was shot by the boy and then he was doing some movements, how she protected herself, and then still she asked the children to go out of the classroom, and then she went out, and then she made sure that everybody is out there. So she's such an angel or whatnot. I'm not sure if he's mentioned the angel word, but kind of like see what she did and all that. But in the same time, he was always mentioning this little boy who did the gunshot as if he was an adult. He was not referring him as a little boy, a 6-year-old boy. Think about this. And again, please watch that video, because as he was this murderer and he was going around and shooting, and then he's talking about that when they went in, that some workers tried to stabilize him and he was still aggressive. And then when the police came in and when they took him, he still was kind of like fighting. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, what would you expect from a boy doing this, a 6-year-old boy doing this, not to be aggressive? Like, what are you expecting? But the way they described this, and then now he took him to custody. He's in custody, and he said that they talked with local hospitals and centers because of the psychological issues, because they said, we never experienced anything like this. We have no experience. So we want to make sure that we are addressing this. He said that they asked for the mother to come in to the police office. And he says this very normally, like, yeah, we asked her to come in, and the mother came. And the mother confirmed that this gun was legally purchased by her. But he says it's just very normal, straight, in a straight way, as, okay, you know, the mother purchased it legally, but the horrible boy did this. And now the boy is in custody. Okay, let me now tell you my 2 cents in this. I cannot believe how there's so many things wrong in this, beside the fact that this boy shot purposefully Ayguen. Okay, before I go into my 2 cents, let me also tell you that at no point in this 14-minute video, the policeman said that Abigail, that the teacher said that there was an altercation. He never mentioned that. But in fact is that at that day, that moment, watch in my previous video where I put a screenshot from a news article there, that was that day. And that day when a fellow student's mother arrived and they talked with the reporters, then this little girl or this little student said that they had an altercation, and then he purposefully shot in the stomach. That's what happened. But at no point, neither Abigail said that to him, to police chief, or the police chief mentioned this in the press conference. Okay, Abigail teacher is not there, so I'm not sure if she said it to him, but if she did, he would have said it in the press conference. I would believe that. But he never mentioned that. He presented in a way that it was just like he just shot her. This is not what the witness said. So now coming to my 2 cents in this, there's so many things wrong in this scenario. Of course, that boy shot his teacher purposefully. That's horrible. Yes. Thankfully, she did not die. She could have died. His fellow students could have died. But the problem here is he is a 6-year-old boy. Where on earth is the mother, the father? What is happening with them? Why is this being talked so randomly? Oh yeah, she purchased it. No. If you own a legal gun, you must ensure that the children cannot have access to it. Period. Full stop. I mean, I can't believe this. At no point in time in this video, in this press conference, the police chief said that. He's giving this emotional outburst of this emotional press conference, but no facts, no nothing, no technical things at all. And so that's one thing. Where is if the mother is responsible, she must be held in custody and be charged or whatever. Period. Not the boy. I mean, and the second thing is, the boy's life is now ruined. Let me tell you, mark my words, come back years later and watch this video, because this boy's life is being ruined. Period. Why? Let me tell you why. Because now under no circumstances this boy will get the proper psychological, emotional, and medical support ever. And he will suffer because obviously he has some anger issues, which obviously comes from his household. They have to investigate what kind of life does this little boy have in his house every day. Obviously, there are some anger issues. And imagine if he is now being drugged or put it in a position that, I mean, most of the time, these type of children end up getting these unaddressed, aggressive, angry behavior. It exponentially grows, and later in life, in his adulthood, he can even become a serial killer or a killer or what, because he will not have addressed. He would get angrier and angrier and angrier. Or even if they would numb him, drug him and numb him, he would have his life ruined. Done. Was this little boy doing this on purpose? He has learned this from his family, from his parents or mother, or I guess they are separated or something, because he was only talking about his mother. And at no point he mentioned his father. So I'm assuming that then he lives with his mother, separated, parents separated. Most clearly, there's something wrong in this household. This brings me now to the third point of, this is the true description, definition of the failed early childhood education in the United States. Period. Under no circumstances this would have happened if we knew how to educate a child properly. If the parents would have been educated, and if we would know how to deal with emotional outbursts. And the teacher has no clue. Apparently nobody around these institutions have a clue. And nobody knows how now to deal with this little boy. And it is unbelievable to me that even the way to describe this boy as if he was an adult killer. This is a 6-year-old boy. I cannot emphasize this enough. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, because it's like, duh. It is mind-blowing to me. Where is the mother? Why is this police chief just talking so randomly about, yeah, the mother came, we talked? What? No, you don't just talk. Now these children, now they figure out how to just probably treat him, maybe drug him, numb him, I don't know, put him in a hospital. He is now in a hospital. He said that he is now in a hospital. I don't know what kind of treatment he's getting in a hospital. God, I can't believe this is the true, actual definition of the failed early childhood education system in the United States, period. This is an example. I'm very sorry for this little boy. Of course, I'm sorry. I'm happy that she's, recovering and all that, and no other children was hurt. But please, I encourage the officers and the officials to take this into consideration and to treat this little boy carefully, and going forward to make sure that the families are providing a safe environment to the children, and it has to be done properly. The early childhood education and emotional support has to be done in a very solid way. Teachers must be educated in this as well. And if there was an altercation, this teacher has to also mention that, by the way. Unbelievable. I'm sorry, it's just unbelievable to me. Let me know in the comments what you think, but that's my take on this. See you in the next video. Bye.